boy, AntKeepsGaming here, and today we're going to do a reaction to Link vs Ridley, Zelda vs Metroid Smash Bracket. That is a lot, but anyway. So there's a channel called InkThinks. I've been with the channel since 1,000 subscribers. He's now at 10k. This is like his 10k special sort of thing. He does all like Smash related content. He does some Smash stuff called The Problem with Among Us, and like final look with Waluigi and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you guys check out his channel. Link is in the description. This is his like 10k sort of special thing. I said, been with the channel 1,000 subscribers. Check out InkThinks. And before you guys start saying stuff about reaction channels, I actually have approval from InkThinks himself to react to this. And if you don't believe me, you could check the screenshot on screen right now. I can react to this, and he's allowed me to, which is great because I want him to get more exposure. This is what I'm more doing it for. One, to do a reaction to it, but also as like a fan, I guess, or a viewer. I'd rather say viewer than fan. A viewer of his. You know, been with the channel for since 1,000 subscribers, but also to maybe spread the word of his channel for people like you guys watch me that you don't know. So, and if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. If he does more of these, just let me know. If you want to see more reactions, just let me know. So anyway, without further ado, let's play this bad boy. If you let me click on it.
Who is canonically the strongest character in Super Smash Bros? I'm Ink, and this is Smash Bracket, a show dedicated to solving that exact question.
Aye.
If each playable fighter from Super Smash Bros was entered into a giant fighting tournament bracket, using them at the peak of their strength, who would come out on top? Now, this is a question that's been tackled before, but I don't think it's ever been done this exact way. Each episode, I'm going to take two fighters and analyze their peak ability and determine a winner, and then show an animated battle to reveal who I believe would win that fight. But before we get into today's battle, let's establish some ground rules. People are inevitably going to draw some connections between this and Screw Attack's incredible Death Battle series. And while there are some similarities in concept, I want to talk about some differences in the rules real quick, because I don't want this to just be Death Battle.
Should release this one.
First off, unlike Death Battle, this is not always going to be a battle to the death, but rather it's going to be to incapacitation. Some characters just can't really be killed in a convincing way, but I think that this opens the doors to ending fights in a more unconventional means that will make battles more interesting.
Ink, bring this fight to the channel.
I'm taking characters at their peak strength, but I'm not going to include gag feats or serious outliers when it comes to measuring their strength, unless it can be backed up by more intentional representations of that character throughout the series. For example, I wouldn't take this scene in Pokemon and say, well, Misty kicked Brock so hard that it left a footprint in his face, and the average human skull can withstand this amount of pressure before breaking. So we know that Misty is operating at superhuman levels of strength. There is a time and a place for taking Toon Force like that, but it's just not my cup of tea. Lastly, unless there's a huge difference in strength and ability, most fights aren't going to play out the same way every single time that they happen, and I never want my voice to be the end of the discussion. So while I'm going to do my absolute best to portray what I think would go down, ultimately, I'm just some random guy with Adobe Premiere. So do your own research and disagree with me in the comments if you'd like. I'd be happy to discuss it. With all that set aside, let's look at today's battle and the very first match in the Smash bracket, Link versus Ridley. And
before we do that, that is a problem with everything. I've said this before. In the podcast. Oh yeah, that's another thing. You should check out A New Podcast Approaches, because we actually had InkThinks on as a guest, so make sure you check out A New Podcast Approaches in the description. We've had lots of different guests. We had InkThinks, we had Papagenos, Block Content, just Push Dustin. I can't say many more. Just go check out that channel. And just going what Ink said as well, people do take a lot of like Death Battle and speculation very, very seriously sometimes. And I mean, you can take it seriously if you want, but what I'm saying is, when it comes to Death Battle, and even Death Battle people said themselves that their word isn't law. Like, they're just doing the math, they're doing something for fun. Same with Ink here, they're just doing something for fun, and like, who would I like to see win or lose? Not their personal bias or anything, just like who they would think with all, you know, their research they're doing, or research, as I say, they're doing. Not saying, you know, that's bad or anything. You know. But anyway, so what I mean by this is, like, people say, oh, because you said it, it must be true, so I'm going to make an angry comment saying why this person should definitely lose, or this person should definitely win over the other guy. But then at the end of the day, it's all fun. With the speculation thing, it's the same thing. It's like, people say, oh, we're covering this leak. Yes, it is fake. I know it's fake, but I'm just covering it because of the whole conversation it brings. So, like, if there's a leak for Dante coming to Smash, and people say, yeah, that's 100% fake. Instead of just like listening of like how good it would be to have Dante in, or the conversation leading up to Dante being in Smash, people just straight away dismiss the leak, saying, oh, all you do is cover fake leaks and stuff like this. Not to me personally, but to other like content creators like for Smash. But that's not the point. The point of that is to the discussion of like the whole character is exciting, and like what characters could make it in, why Dante could make it in or couldn't make it in, you know. It's just that conversation that's really exciting, regardless if the leak is fake or not, and do people dismiss it's fake, or just, you know, I don't know what word to put, like downvote like the whole video, downvote the video, yeah, or dislike the video, should I say. I've just woke up, because, you know, they don't like it or they think it's fake or something like that. That's not the reason for it. It's just for fun, guys. It's just for fun. So anyway, let's continue the video.
Let's get into it. Ridley has been a household name in large part due to his presence in the Super Smash Bros. Series, notwithstanding his importance in his own series. He's been present in literally every single Super Smash Bros. Game in one form or another, except for the 3DS version of Smash 4, most of the time making the cut only as a cameo appearance. For this reason, over the years he became such a common name in the Smash speculation scene after seeing how cool he was in things like Melee's opening cutscenes, or his boss fight in Brawl, or his status as a stage hazard in Smash 4. He became almost a meme in the speculation scene due to his infamous quote from Smash Bros. Director Masahiro Sakurai, stating that he thought Ridley was too big, and that if he shrunk him or reduced the wingspan, then it wouldn't be Ridley anymore. And also expressing that he wanted Ridley to be able to feel like an imposing, dangerous threat, and he liked being able to control that perception through keeping him as a boss. But that didn't stop the fan demand. He was talked about and requested for years, the better part of 2 decades even. And finally, in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, he finally got his wish and killed Mario. Oh, that's and became a playable character. His presence in Smash may have introduced him to a lot of people, but he's an incredible villain in his own right within the Metroid series. He's devious and cunning, and a lot of people like to cite the fact that he canonically killed Samus's mother, or his hyper-intelligence portrayed in his efforts through leading a space army of pirates. He's crafted a robot version of himself to demonstrate his intellect and ego, but he has also portrayed how far he'll go to win by using some of those same cybernetics on himself to become the cyborg known as Meta Ridley. He went even further after that and infused himself with powerful Phazon energy, turning himself into Omega Ridley. In a game that has a feeling of loneliness and coming from modest beginnings, Ridley rips into each new entry with a vengeance and showing the dark side of that progression. When it comes to Ridley's abilities, he reads almost as though a 6-year-old threw a bunch of adjectives at you, but then they refined it into something that's legitimately terrifying and awesome. He's a purple space dragon genius cyborg who can also fly and shoot plasma lasers. But he's legitimately strong, and while he's had many appearances over the years, I thought it would be most fun to combine them into a single version of the character to see what he's capable of. He's tough enough to smash through stone, pierce through incredibly strong Chozo armor with his deadly tail, and he can augment his physical attack range with Phazon energy blades projecting from his claws. And we should talk about that tail though, because it's a favorite weapon of his. While he's incredibly fond of using it as a pogo stick, he can also do some serious damage with it. Like I said, he can cut through armor that's tough enough to tank being smashed through a wall as if it were butter. Oh, and there was also that time that he pulled it from the ground hard enough to produce splinters of earth nearly as tall as Samus, who's over 6 feet tall. For my non-American viewers, that's just over 190 centimeters. He's also dexterous enough with his tail to quickly wrap it around an enemy, and he can project Phazon beams from it. But his real power comes from his breath weapon. He can fire kinetic plasma beams strong enough to turn hillsides into rubble, he can shoot fireballs strong enough to create shockwaves of residual fire, and he has a multi-missile system that shoots out insanely fast homing devices. If you ask me though, Ridley's real power doesn't lie in his strength, but in his speed and durability. Even without his insanely strong Omega armor, he's tanked explosions powerful enough to level a city. But when you add his enhancements into the equation, he can withstand just about everything. His powerful armor and Phazon.
So people are on about like how they you know, other characters not getting in, but they managed to get Ridley in.
And regular beams. She only ended
reduced
up
his
being able to hurt
size
him by exposing a weak point on his
so
chest.
any character's
Samus
viable.
Can generate some serious power, but Ridley just doesn't care. He's fast enough to outspeed Samus's ship, which is at the very least capable of reaching escape velocity, although it's hard to know its exact speed it's going in this clip. He's also fast enough to be incredibly hard to hit when he's flying overhead, even for the cybernetically enhanced Samus. Despite these strengths though, he does have one weakness: his mouth. It's the only part of him that isn't heavily armored, but to reach it you would need to either hit him from a distance or get past his plasma attacks and teeth. No matter which iteration of Ridley you're dealing with, he's an absolute force to be reckoned with. The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite series of all time. It's a series about hope and how people maintain that hope when they're faced with immeasurable grief. Whether it's facing an apocalyptic threat, seeing your home country flooded, or even an evil ruler taking over the land, the people of Hyrule try their very best to keep faith in something that will help them out. And more often than not, that something is Link. Something most fans will know but might not be obvious to casual observers of the series is that nearly every single Link that we see is a totally different person spanning across millennia. That leads me to my first difficult choice I have with the Smash Bracket series. Do I take a single iteration of Link for a battle, which would significantly hamper the character, or do I combine every iteration of Link into one conceptual character, which would significantly buff him?
Yeah,
I ended up deciding on the latter for a few reasons. First off, we've played as 4 different versions of Link at a minimum within Smash Bros, and I wanted to be able to represent all of those, but I also just thought it would be more fun to do it this way. Link is the reborn hero of the goddess Hylia and has been reincarnated for thousands of years at this point. He's had over 20 different adventures by now.
See, just going back to what Ink said about the different iterations of Link and use all of them, I would use like the most common weapons he uses, so like the Master Sword, the Hylian Shield, the bow, the boomerang. What else? What's the most common? I would use the most common ones for Link and give like still his strength of whatever Link is. Well, not the strongest, but like just like the try and find the average strength of him. But then I guess that's kind of falling into maybe Death Battle a little bit. But yeah, I'll just do like the common weapons he uses. So bows, bombs, boomerangs, Master Sword, Hylian Shield. I can't think because then there's going to be arguments. Well, he's used this item more than this item, so this item's getting. I think just like the standard sort of weaponry he always uses is always a bow, a hook shot. I think there's another one. I think only Breath of the Wild hasn't. Well, Breath of the Wild hasn't got a hook shot, but only I'm just trying to think. Like I think Breath of the Wild is the only Breath of the Wild. I think Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the only one that hasn't got the hook shot. I think most Zeldas have the hook shot, but then you could say, oh, well, that's been used mostly, so that one. So you've got to try. I guess if he's got the hook shot, you use that often, or you use the Lens of Truth that often. So yeah, I guess. I'll use, but he definitely uses bombs, arrows, arrows, bombs. He uses his bombs, his bow, his boomerang, sword, and shield. That's basically Link's bread and butter. He definitely uses all them, and for common weapons, he should definitely just use those. That's the standard. That's what I would do. But this is InkThinks' thing, so we'll just see what happens.
New items and experience. His most iconic equipment over the years are probably his Master Sword and Hylian Shield. His shield reminds me very much of Vibranium from the Marvel Universe, in the fact that it's nigh unbreakable and seems to be able to absorb momentum.
Every knight in Hyrule has a Vibranium shield.
It can hold up to nearly everything, including strikes from this skeleton who's strong enough to shatter an entire bridge just by standing up. It's also been shown to withstand laser beams and strikes from beings that are way larger than Link himself. When it comes down to it, Link can also reflect projectiles with either a shield bash or his mirror shield, and he's even skilled enough to deflect insanely powerful attacks with nothing but a pot lid. As I mentioned, Link also wields the Master Sword, which was forged by the goddess Hylia to be carried by her hero throughout time. That said, most of the sword's feats are really hard to measure. I mean, how do I quantify shattering a barrier of darkness? That said, we have seen it do some measurable things, such as slicing through a giant octopus tentacle as if it was nothing, but most of its power seems to come from its ability to destroy evil, as well as its incredible durability. But apart from his main sword, Link also has access to a variety of other weapons. The Big Goron sword, for example, can deal even more damage than the Master Sword, and the Four Sword can allow Link to split himself into 4 separate entities. He also carries bombs with enough impact to destroy large rocks, some of which can be remotely detonated, as well as also carrying some weapons relying on his brute strength, like a hammer or his ball and chain. In case you haven't picked up on it, Link houses some serious versatility. Link's bow is a staple that travels with him throughout most of the series. Augmenting his normal, run-of-the-mill arrows, Link can also shoot ice arrows cold enough to freeze lava, fire arrows hot enough to stop a pseudo-blizzard, and light arrows that travel at incredible speeds and obliterate most of Link's enemies in a single shot, including doing some serious damage to Ganondorf himself. His most recent addition to his arsenal of arrows, though, are his ancient arrows, which are powerful enough to cause most enemies to disappear without a trace. Although they were made specifically to fight ancient Sheikah technology, these still pack a serious punch. And speaking of ancient Sheikah tech, I need to take a minute and talk about Link's Sheikah Slate. With this tablet, he can stop an enemy in time for a brief period while he attacks them using stasis, control metal with magnesis, freeze water with cryonis, create bombs, and also take selfies. He's also been given blessings from the spirits of his fallen allies, such as
Ridley.
Eva's Grace, which can revive him, or Urbosa's Fury, which unleashes a powerful lightning attack. Now, I could spend hours going into Link's other equipment, but they would mean very little without Link's incredible strength. He's strong enough to hold onto his hookshot as it pulls him throughout the sky without ripping his arms off, and with the help of his strength-augmenting golden gauntlets, he's strong enough to lift this giant pillar of stone and toss it casually above his head, which is far more difficult than just lifting and moving it. The real-life human record for throwing something in a similar fashion is 60 pounds, or around 27 kilograms. Link has been calculated by the Incredible Because Science channel to be lifting around 148,000 kilos, or around 326,000 pounds. But apart from just lifting force, Link packs a serious swing behind his sword. By calculating the distance an object travels after being hit in stasis, people much smarter than me over at that same channel have figured him to be hitting each swing with around 2 million newtons, or around 400,000 pounds of force, which is just around 181,000 kilos. That's more weight than an entire whale behind each swing. And normally, I think it would be good to see if this is an outlier of his strength. I mean, he obviously doesn't shatter a tree with a single hit like he would if he were actually hitting that way all the time. But he shows really similar feats of strength throughout the series. For example, he can also stop a raging Lionel dead in its tracks with a single swing of his shield without so much as taking a single step back. He just totally stops their momentum, which equates to a similar level of strength as what we've previously talked about. This puts Link in a similar strength class as Spider-Man, and he's no slouch when it comes to durability or speed either. He shrugged off being hit with boulders hard enough that the boulder shatters, and he's also survived an explosion capable of clearing an entire room of stone. He's fast enough to react to, and hit multiple times in a row, Thunderblight Ganon, who can move nearly faster than the eye can see, which in a study done by Air Force pilots on things the size of airplanes, is shown to be around just over 38,000 miles per hour,
I didn't know you could do the Lionel thing either,
61,000 kilometers per hour. Even if we insanely lowball this because Ganon is so much smaller than a plane, and say that he was moving around a tenth of this speed, he would still be moving around 3,800 miles per hour, or 6,100 kilometers per hour. Link's top reaction speed is somewhere in this range, which is insane. That said, with all of this said and done for both fighters, let's see the fight and determine the winner.
Let's go. Yeah, Card Wars Saga, that's those sprites. Okay, here we go. Bam. Took it. Oh, this didn't do nothing. So, bing. Let's fire ice and light. Energy sword? Energy arrow? Oh. Oh, I kind of mix the songs up. That's quite cool. Oh no. Ready? Ah, me first. So he's going to use the runes then, or the guidance powers. I like how these songs are mixed together as well. That's awesome. Hook shot. I said about the hook shot. So he's using it. Ancient arrow with Urbosa's Fury. And he didn't one hit kill him. Kill him. Is that a bomb? Oh! Damn. So he knocked him forward and with the sword.
And there we go. Ridley is incredibly strong and cunning and insanely durable, but Link is just operating on a different level. Although there's likely some versions of Link that Ridley could beat no problem, I'm looking at you, Hero of Train. By nature of how this tournament is set up, with both Link and Ridley as composite characters, Ridley just didn't stand a chance. Even if we were only to use Breath of the Wild Link, there's a good chance that he would still outclass Ridley. And even if we were generous and say that nothing Link has could pierce through Ridley's armor, Link is an expert at identifying, exposing, and exploiting weak points on an otherwise impenetrable monster. Ridley is no pushover when it comes to his strength, speed, and durability, but it's nothing that Link hasn't dealt with before. Heck, even looking at Twilight Princess, Link has dealt with a dragon who's a very similar size to Ridley and beat it no issue. On the flip side, Link has a kit that Ridley just isn't equipped to deal with. His strength is immense, and his arsenal of weapons is insane, and Ridley just doesn't have an answer to account for his Sheikah runes, such as the time-stopping stasis. When this is accompanied with the help from Mipha's Grace and Urbosa's Fury from Breath of the Wild, neither of these are really needed. I just don't think that Ridley could have done much at all to hold his own. But what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. If you liked this and want to see more, please genuinely consider sharing it with your friends and family, and subscribe to see more content. I know every creator says this, but I really do need the support if I'm going to continue this series.
Do that.
I am still a small creator, so my funding for this project depends entirely on its success and the ad revenue I can pull in for it. If you'd like to see an alternate ending where Ridley wins, I'm going to be posting that shortly on my Patreon page, which I'm also going to use to fund this project. I'll also be posting behind-the-scenes looks there and more, so stay tuned. Our next matchup in the Smash bracket is Mega Man vs. Mario, so stay tuned. And until next time, stay smashing.
Okay. Well, that was interesting. I don't want autoplay. No autoplay. No, none. I just do like that. So that was, yeah, quite interesting. As I said, like, I didn't realise he was going to use the runes. I thought he would use, like, obviously the bombs, the bow, the boomerang, obviously the sword and shield. Yeah, I said, like, there's other links that really can be, you know, there's an alternate ending as well. I think that's a good thing, is that alternate ending thing is really good. Because, like, Death Battle doesn't do that, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't think Death Battle does that, and I think they should do that, even if it's, like, behind Patreon to, say, an alternate ending, because with, like, just one ending, it's like, oh yeah, it's completely final, and people will take it like that. Oh, there's no other ending, just this. That's final. Anyway, so, but again, it's not final, so it's just fun. It's just for fun, guys. Come on. Anyway, amazing work by InkThinks and his team. That's a really cool sprite battle. As you know me, I'm very, very selfish, and I would love to see more fighting. The one thing of me, I just love fighting, like, a lot, and I wish, the same with Death Battle, I wish their episodes were longer, and I know it costs more time and money, so, but I'm grateful for what I got. So again, congratulations InkThink on 10k. I said, been around for 1,000 subscribers. I knew he was going to go far, and I still think this channel is going somewhere very well, going somewhere. I was going to say very big. Does that make any sense? You're going to be very big, man. Honestly, you really are. And thank you for letting me react. I know some people just react to some video clips, but I rather ask. I'm that polite and that kind of person. So thank you, InkThinks, for letting me react. And if you can check out InkThinks in the description, so make sure you guys do that. And also New Podcast Approaches, where we had an interview with InkThinks, so you can check that out too. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications if you like this reaction. And if you want me to do more, let me know. And yeah, I shall see you guys on the next one. Always remember to keep gaming. Bye, guys. Bye.